Hey guys, I'm back with another video. I know it's been a while, but I've just been enjoying burning my candles that I already own in my very massive collection of 10 years or whatever it is. So just haven't been inclined to buy anything, but there's finally some newness out. So I do have a haul of the newest winter or holiday candles right here. So if you're interested, then stay tuned. So let's see, where do we start? I guess we'll just start with this one. So yeah, a lot of these, actually all of them are online, I believe, but they're not marked as buy online, pick up in store on the website. But if you do go into the store, I went into many stores actually yesterday, and all of them had all the new candles, so you can go into your store and get them. I believe they're $10 off. And then I used a 20% off coupon on it, and that's how I got these. Dream Bright is not out yet. I don't think that's supposed to come out until the full launch on the 30th or the 31st or whatever it is, towards the end of the month. And there's also After Dark, which is like the new men's fragrance. It's also supposed to launch sometime later, and that was not out yet. But those were the only two candles that are like floating around that I have not got my hands on. But I'll get those when they come out. So yeah. So the first collection we have, this is the one. So basically, I got all the new fragrances because the repeats been there, done that. And let me just preface, or let me just put a little side note here by saying there's nothing wrong with the repackaged fragrances that come out all the time. It's just I'm jaded as a 10+ year reviewer or collector. So you know, I've already had Fresh Balsam. It's already in my collection. 'Tis the Season, Under the Christmas Tree, Tree Farm, The Perfect Christmas. Like those, let's not discount those scents. I was talking about this on my live yesterday. Let's not discount those scents. They're still very good scents. And if you're new to Bath & Body Works, you know, for the first time, for the second year, or whatever it is, or if you're just going for gifts, like those fragrances are still very good and they have their own merit to them, and there's no reason to bash them, but it's just they're repackages that I've already experienced before, so I don't personally feel the need to come on my channel and continue talking about them year after year, because you know, my audience, I kind of assume most of us already have an established history with Bath & Body Works, and I'm not necessarily catering to people. I mean, if you are new to Bath & Body Works, you're certainly welcome to watch my videos, but you know, my core audience are people who have been around for a while, so I'm not necessarily catering to, you know, new people who are looking to, you know, see reviews of the same stuff that's been out over and over and over and over again. I just have already talked about that at one point, so it's just not as fulfilling or inspiring for me to be talking about repeat fragrances. But once again, not to discount any of those. Like Fresh Balsam is always recommended. 'Tis the Season, Under the Christmas Tree, Tree Farm, Perfect Christmas, all excellent, awesome, quintessential Christmas fragrances that come out all the time. Nothing wrong with them. I just simply don't need to continue purchasing them because I kind of know they're going to be sticking around, or already have one in my collection. So just putting that out there. So that's why I always focus on the new fragrances, and that's why you might not see me just pumping out content just for the sake of it, because that's just not, I guess, my goal or aim with this channel. I just want to talk about the new stuff because I've kind of been around the block for a long time, so I'm just here for the new, exciting, inspiring stuff. So yes, so mostly the new stuff. So in this collection, the one new one is the Fa La La Latte right there. This has the same, I think these lids came on originally when Hot Cocoa and Cream first came out, and those matte jars with those cute retro square labels on it. This is a wraparound, and it's supposed to be a luminary candle. This one says a shot of espresso, sweet vanilla foam topped with warm cookie crumbles. So I was really intrigued about this one because I like my coffee fragrances. Paris Cafe, aka Campsite Coffee, aka Intense Coffee, all the Paris Cafe variations that we've had before, seems to have gotten the boot, and it just doesn't come back out regularly or normally as it has used to. Sometimes they'll come out for Candle Day or whatever, and so I'm always looking for what the next coffee fragrance is. And a lot of times their coffee fragrances have an implied fake coffee, you know, that doesn't really smell like coffee, and so I'm always intrigued to see what the new variation is. So we have Fa La La Latte right here, and yeah, I was saying this in my live that it's very, very similar to Sweet Tiramisu, which then got repackaged as Pumpkin Spice Latte, which is right here. And if you recall, the notes on this one say whipped sweet cream, vanilla sponge cake, and fresh brewed Italian espresso. So when you compare the notes, espresso, vanilla cream / foam, and warm cookie and vanilla sponge cake, they're very similar, you know, notes. And I think Pumpkin Spice Latte has a very similar notes on them as well. But I think this one is Pumpkin Spice Latte / Sweet Tiramisu. It's the same super creamy base with some kind of warm implied bakery, whether it's sponge cake or whether it's warm cookie crumbles or a shot of pumpkin spice. There's some kind of warm bakeryness mixed with a creamy vanilla cream that is either, I guess, sweet, you know, vanilla foam or cream, or the layers of a sweet tiramisu, the actual, the cream that's in between the tiramisu. That type of fragrance is in here. There's definitely a creamy vanilla bakery element mixed with a shot of something that's kind of implies coffee, and This is pretty much that, except I believe there's an added caramel note in here that's much sweeter than this version. Yeah, this one, they're very, very similar, but I think this one has an extra bit of caramel in it. I feel like the coffee is a little bit, once again, more of that implied coffee rather than that super bold roasty coffee. So if you smell Paris Cafe, it's super bold, it's super roasty, it's super like aromatic in the same way that when you brew coffee, you get that like burnt element to it. There isn't really that type of strong, bold strength to it. I think a lot of times with these coffee fragrances, a lot like a power of suggestion thing is going on. Of course, everyone interprets every fragrance differently, but yeah, like, I guess there's a little bit of coffee in there, but it's not as bold or roasty as Paris Cafe, at least in my opinion. So it's not whipped coffee, which was originally white caramel cold brew. That's way more milky and way more caramely. There's a caramel presence in here, but it's not as, I guess, just straightforward. That was just like a caramel milk fragrance to me. This one has a little bit more going on in the realm of sweet tiramisu and pumpkin spice latte. I think the burning question was how different or similar is it to brown sugar latte. Love this one last year. Freaking excellent. I only bought one because it just sootted like absolute madness. I could not get this one to not soot, but love the fragrance. This is fresh roasted coffee froth, milk, and sugar praline. Delicious. There was something strangely perfumey about this that I really loved. It was like a perfumed hazelnut mixed with a coffee note. And I feel like the coffee note was a lot more like, there's a little bit more of like a bitter roasty component to it that I like in a coffee fragrance. In this, that's a little bit more present than it is in the new latte fragrance. Yeah, a little bit more perfumey, a little bit more coffee as well. I really enjoyed this one. It smells a whole lot like if you were to go to a gas station or like a hotel continental breakfast and they had like a hazelnut cappuccino machine. It's kind of just like the pre-made one mixed with like the creamy foam and everything. And you get the coffee and you get the hazelnut and you get the cream in there. And some extra like perfuminess chilled in this one that I loved it. It was robust and just like great. Oh, loved it. But it just sooted like crazy, so I didn't love that. So it is not brown sugar latte in my opinion. So that was the first one. I think the other stuff in this is like Tis the Season, which is a repackage. Bright Christmas Morning, which is like a champagne toast sibling fragrance, so I didn't need that. And then Twas the Night Before Christmas, which I believe is a repackage of Hometown Sugar Cookies, but I never actually burned or owned that one, so don't quote me on that. But very similar cookie fragrance, very similar to either Cookies with Santa or Hometown Sugar Cookies, but it had that distinctly milky fragrance that I got from Hometown Sugar Cookies. I felt like was in Twas the Night Before Christmas, so left that on the shelf. So that was this collection right here. The next one we have is from the White Barn Neutrals collection, and that's what this looks like. It's Applewood and Clove right there. This one says Rich Applewood, Warm Clove, and White Birch. And the rest in this collection was like Linen and Lavender, I think is back out again in that collection. There was also a White Woods and Peach, which I highly believe, although I only smelled it on cold, might be a repackage of Peach on Earth right here. It had the same like peach and cinnamon notes on it. Yeah, it just kind of smells like a peach cobbler, like a cinnamon peach cobbler is what kind of this smells like. I don't mind it, but it has that very distinct like trash bag plasticky peaches quality that we get from Georgia Peach / Market Peach. It's most certainly in here. And I just had Peach on Earth the first year and this year as well, so I don't need it repackaged as a White Woods and Peach, so I left that there. And there's supposed to be a White Tea and Jasmine that's supposed to come out, but that was not in stores yet. So the one I did pick up, however, was the Applewood and Clove. This is a pretty like quintessential straightforward fragrance, to be completely honest. It's kind of like in your pumpkin apple variety of fragrance, or apple crumble, or the spice apple crumb from Homeworks. Think of even like kind of like a Harvest Gathering type of fragrance. It's just that heavy spice plus an apple blend is what this is. But it's just like well executed. I think this is better than pumpkin apple, because pumpkin apple tends to have that very like plasticky, sharp component to it that I don't love. This one's a little bit more warmer and smoother and a little bit more robust. There's definitely a spiciness to it that you get from the clove and maybe like the cinnamon in there as well, mixed with apple. It's just very quintessential like fall into winter fragrance. Nothing groundbreaking, but just it's nice. That's pretty much it. So Applewood and Clove right there. I think that could have just been called Apple and Clove, but they wanted to add the wood in there to make it a little bit more, I guess, neutral for that neutral collection. So that was that. Moving on, we have this collection. This was the only one new one in that collection. It's Merry Maple Bourbon right here in that super cute, like, striped packaging right there. This one is Sweet Maple Sugar, Rich Bourbon, and Aged Cedarwood Barrels. This one has the core wicks on it. It's just very, very, very sweet. Wow. It just smells like if you had some kind of like bourbon infused caramel maple frosting or icing on top of a cupcake. I just imagine like if you were to just like, even with like the sugar crystals, like just like if you were to like chop the frosting off the top of the cupcake, this is what that smells like. It's super sweet, super decadent, like cloyingly sweet in the realm of like your cinnamon caramel swirl, pumpkin caramel swirl type of super sweet, like caramely maple fragrance. That is what this is. I'm just hoping it's really strong and scrumptious, but there's a very sugary icing or frosting type of component in here for sure. There's slight sharpness, almost like a rubbing alcohol sharpness that I guess is supposed to be the bourbon. And that's what Merry Maple Bourbon smells like. In comparison to Bourbon Maple right here, this one is barrel-aged bourbon, sugared amber, and maplewood. This one's a lot more deeper and rustic. Like this isn't, I mean, there's an edible component to it, but it's a little bit more conceptual and a little bit more like, I always thought this one had like a dry, like hay type of quality to it. There's definitely like a rustic hay, like almost slight earthiness to it, that makes this a lot more like rustic and conceptual, whereas this one's like a straight up like gourmand frosting icing fragrance. So this is the way sweeter, more frosting gourmand version of Bourbon Maple. This one's a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more toned down, a little bit more earthy. So not the same fragrance there. And I think the rest of that collection was repackages. Moving on, we have this collection, which was Falling Flurries, which is a repackage, as well as Vanilla Birch was in there. And then we had Strawberry Snowflakes is the new one. I believe this is getting body care and was out as a hand soap or a pocket back at one point. This one has like that lid on it. This one says Juicy Strawberry Whipped Cream and Ice Bergamot. This one also has the core wicks on it. This is like basically if you took the strawberry jam note of strawberry pound cake and isolated that, that is kind of what this is, mixed with a slightly like sour icy component to it, which I guess is what's supposed to be the iced bergamot. But it's very similar to, like, it's like a wintertime version of strawberry pound cake. They just removed that awesome, decadent, golden, delicious, buttery pound cake note is removed from strawberry pound cake. But you get that same strawberry jam note. It's very present in here. Mixed with a slight, sour, I guess, iciness that's supposed to evoke snowflakes. Kind of smells like a milkshake as well. I guess in the sense that there's a creamy coolness to it. This could be like strawberry milkshake, and I would believe that as well. Or like a strawberry Whoppers type of fragrance, like that strawberry milkshake Whoppers that they've had before. It's kind of like that. Yeah, kind of artificial, but still nice in like a very strawberry pound cake kind of way. Is it new or super groundbreaking? No, I think it's just kind of like a slight rehash of strawberry pound cake made a little less warmer and buttery and more icy and cool to evoke a snowflake experience. So strawberry snowflakes right there. So yeah, that was that collection. And then moving on, we have Land of Snow in this collection right here. That's what that looks like. This has like a really decorative lid on it, as you can see. The other ones were Land of Sweets, which is just a repackage of Sugared Pomegranate, which was that like pomegranate watermelon fragrance that we had last year that kind of smells like rubber cement, but I believe that was actually a repackage of the failed Wild Huckleberry test scent, if anyone remembers that from the Mixed Materials collection. There's that, so I didn't need that because I already have the Huckleberry version from the original release, Under the Christmas Tree and The Perfect Christmas, and then the one new one is Land of Snow right here. Snowy Cypress, Iced Juniper Berries, and Frozen Oak Moss. This one has the thick rope-like wicks. This one's interesting. It's like perfumey, soapy, floral, and masculine cologne all mixed into one is what this is. It's very, once again, more abstract and conceptual, so that's why I picked it up. At first, I didn't love it, but it was so different from everything else, and it was distinctly new that I was like, okay, you know what, let me give this a try, and this could have the potential to be something kind of interesting or unique, but definitely like a powdery white floral is what I get, and it has like a slightly soapy component to it. It's then mixed with like, almost like this, like a tart, like almost has that sort of rubber cement quality to this one as well. Almost like a tart, like almost like a lemon verbena type feel to it as well. If you remember verbena waters or any of their like lemon verbena type fragrances, it kind of has that quality to it, that also kind of leans into a, kind of like a Old Spice type of men's cologne vibe is also in there. So it's soapy, it's cologne-y, it's fresh, but it's all floral, all mixed into one. It's interesting. Yeah. It kind of has like an old-fashioned like deodorant type of feel to it as well. You just kind of have to smell this one to get the full effect. But I guess when you do smell it, it kind of does slightly evoke like powdery snow out on like a winter snowscape, in the sense that you get kind of like a manly woodsy fragrance mixed with like a slight soft powdery floralness that's supposed to evoke the snow as well. So yeah, I don't know. I'll have to burn this one and see how it does, but I enjoy that it's just very different. So that was Lane of Snow right there, and I think that's it for my haul. Other stuff that's out that I haven't talked about, there was a Sugar Plum Fairy, very just boring, generic, like springtime, summertime, could be like fruity fragrance, not too far different from Cranberry Peach, or which is now Snowy Peach Berry, just your cute, sweetsy, cutesy, fruitsy fragrance that you get during the spring or summertime, packaged for the winter time. So I didn't need that. There's Smoked Vanilla Whiskey now, which, as you know, came out and tested in the Geometric Test Collection right here. And that's what that looks like. I have burned this one. Dark Oak, Bourbon Reserve, and Smoked Vanilla, which is very similar to notes of just plain old Smoked Vanilla, which is creamy vanilla, smoked sandalwood, and rich bourbon. I've burned both of these, and at least in my humble opinion, I can assure you that they're just repackages. So I think they just like added the word whiskey to try to make it more palatable or trendy to the I guess the new trend of adding spirits and drink into their candle names. It's just smoked vanilla, which I love. Smoked vanilla. It's like this sophisticated, almost like meaty, creamy, smooth vanilla. This kind of has like a roasty, smoky quality to it, and just very much is a very atmospheric, like an antique roaring library with a antique library with a roaring fireplace during the wintertime feel to it that I really enjoy about this one. It's out now as Smoked Vanilla Whiskey. So it's just weird that this one's been out for quite some time, and I guess they slapped the word whiskey on it and maybe it's going to be popular. So there was that in that collection as well. Anything else to be talking about? Let's see. There was that Juniper and Gin collection. I didn't pick up any of those. Juniper and Gin just kind of smell like a rehash of the old Sparkling Limeade fragrance from the White Barn Market collection many, many years back. It's kind of like this sour limeade fragrance, like a lime drink fragrance with an extra it's not Sparkling Limeade, but similar to it. The Juniper and Gin is like a slightly more sophisticated version that has almost like a grassy component to it from the Juniper, which is to be expected. Kind of similar to Frosted Moscow Mule if you made it a little bit more sophisticated and less sweet. It's kind of like a lime drink fragrance was what that was. I didn't need that. And there's a cranberry orange seltzer or something like that, which just smelled like the fresh orange candle mixed with some more fruit, so I didn't need that either. And Sweet Whiskey, which I haven't seen in a hot minute, so that must have been really popular, smelled just too similar to Sunrise Woods, which I still have. It's just like one of those body care fragrances, so I didn't care for that, so I left that there. And I think that's pretty much it for all the newness that's out right now. I've been just really picky or choosy with the stuff that I get. I kind of didn't need all 5 of these today either, but I was like, let me resurrect my channel and do a haul and maybe do some reviews of these as well, just to get some newness into the system. So that was pretty much it. Let me know your thoughts on these candles down below. I do plan on doing an empties video as well, so stay tuned for that later on, and that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.